Well, everyone, welcome to AI Movies Review, and I'm here to review the HBO documentary Going to Mars, the Nikki Giovanni project. And this new documentary focuses on poet Nikki Giovanni, who was a revolutionary historical figure when it came to the civil rights movement and all the way through Black Lives Matter movement. And this particular film is directed by Joe Brewster and Michelle Stevenson. And this film, I think, is very interesting in how the film is portrayed and how it's put together. There's very unique editing and visuals and flow to the film that makes us not feel like a regular documentary. There's just something about it that feels a little off, but also different and unique. And I was grappling watching the film like, do I like this or is this off-putting to me? And I think that's a fine line that I think people will have to walk watching this film. But in the visual perspective, it is a beautiful film. It has great archival footage. There's a lot of Nikki Giovanni in it. And I do really appreciate when you see a documentary, you get to hear from the person. And there's some great archival footage of her and in these interviews and having these discussions that have a lot of depth, a lot of deep meaningful conversations about civil rights and very interesting metaphor. And that's the thing, Going to Mars is a metaphor. And how this film leverages that metaphor that Giovanni really incorporated into her perspective. Into her poetry, I think the film does a great job of really making sure that that metaphor gets across to its audience and adds depth to the experience and the conversation. You also have Taraji P. Henson here, who's narrating, reading elements of her work and stuff like that. And that adds some layers too. And it's hard to find somebody better for this than Taraji P. Henson. She does a great job as well. It's informative, it's engaging. It puts you in positions where you have to really think and grapple with some of the ideas of Giovanni because this is also not the kind of film where you're just going to get a bunch of answers. There's going to be a lot of thoughts and perspective and having to grapple with ideas. And that's what really works about this film, makes it engaging, makes it interesting and dynamic. I think those are the elements that really sell this film and makes it a worthwhile experience to go check out on HBO. This is coming out on HBO January, out in theaters back in, it looks like it was early November. I think this is a dynamic and engaging film. That's certainly worth your time and grapples with some big ideas, important, relevant themes that are still uncomfortably important today. You know, wish we were in a world where they wouldn't have to be, but we are in a world where they're probably more important than ever. And this is a very interesting and thought-provoking documentary to give some new perspective on that. But those are my thoughts on Going to Mars, the Nikki Giovanni project. Let me know what you think and don't forget to subscribe my channel.